I think you ought to know. Men's Radio. The place where men and women really speak. Oh man, what a show. It's Men's Radio. This crazy show is on 3 times a week. Now Russ and Phil are there to help with all your cares. We laugh, we cry, we talk like grown-ups do. But if you're sad and low, it won't cost you no dough. Men's Radio, that's the place for you. With Russ Kane and Phil Dave.
Unbelievable. Wow, fantastic.
We made it to Friday.
We've made it to Friday. That is, of course, the intro from Mr. Ray Gelato.
It is.
Mr. Ray Gelato. I'm not
him of the ice cream variety.
And the ice, we've done every... You know why he was called Ray Gelato?
I think it's because he looked like a walnut whip when he was younger.
That's a bit rude. And he's very strong and powerful and would beat you to a pulp.
I know. That's why I said it, because he's not here.
Yeah, but he knows where you live. Well, he will do when I give him your address.
Oh.
No, he was... Ray was part of the Chevalier brothers, which some of you may remember were really very, very popular. The Chevalier brothers. And they were being interviewed. And the guy, it was out in the street they'd been playing. And I think it was the Evening Standard or something. And they said, what's the name of the band? So they all had different names, but no one had made up a name for Ray. I'm not going to tell you what his name is. And so they asked the band leader, who had the cheek to call himself Maurice Chevalier, yes, the Chevalier brothers. And I think there was a 4-piece setup, and he's giving them all the names. And then Ray happened to be standing, I swear to God, by an ice cream stand. And they said, who's the guy? Because he was only known as Muscles, because Ray's very beefy. And he said, yeah, that's Ray. And he looked at the sign, he just said Ray Gelato, and Ray came back and was furious. And he's had the name ever since the days.
I mean, I suppose one has to be grateful he wasn't standing by an STD clinic.
Well, thank God for that. Be Ray Clapp.
That could have been awful.
Be Ray. Yeah. Look at this criticism. Phil's
I wasn't yawning.
I wasn't yawning. You're yawning. Yeah. I'm not crying. You're crying. I think she's in New York, but we never know because she flips around. Yes, stewardess. Elizabeth Green, good morning to you.
Paul Claridge says, good afternoon, gang. I'm tuned in while sitting in my friend's house stroking a cat. In fact, I've been stroking 3 cats. Good work.
You're not putting it up, are you? Because that's not what he said.
No, that's not what it says. Smutty, I know what he's implying, but I refuse. I refuse to lower ourselves to Mrs. Slocum level.
Do you find that offensive, or does it just make you laugh?
It makes me roar with laughter. I think it's hysterical.
No, Elizabeth Green is in New York. She's in Manhattan at 7 o'clock in the morning. And somebody pretending to be your mother says, hello, lovely guys. Uh-oh, more criticism. You're getting it today, boy. You wimp, Phil. Rude. Rude. Now, you were a huge fan of Paul O'Grady, were you not? I know you were. Do you want to say something about it? Do you want to say a few words about it? I covered it on Wednesday, but nonetheless.
No, I think the only thing that I would say is that I think it's very rare when we stumble across someone who, as far as the industry is concerned, I never met him, by the way, but no one has ever said a bad word against him. Did you? All right. No one has ever said a bad word against him that I've heard anyway. And this is...
This was my morning. I'm sorry to interrupt. I know it's very rude. Beanie sends me a picture of Clitterhouse playing fields, Brent Cross Town. So right. I thanked him. This is how I wake up, with a picture from Beanie, right? And I put on my Facebook my worry is that no man will ever be able to find it. But Lloyd won't let the gag go.
I mean, I love it. I'm just about to pay a serious tribute to Paul O'Grady here.
I'm terrible.
giggling away at Glitter House. I don't even know what's funny about it.
Nothing. Well, I'll explain it after the show. So much to learn.
Obviously didn't pay attention in biology.
The responsibility I feel with your boy is enormous. Right. Back to Paul O'Grady. Sorry, that was rude.
Good.
That was rude. Go on.
Right. Okay, no, all I was going to say is as far as Paul O'Grady is concerned, I think it's very rare that you actually stumble across someone who seems to be universally liked. And from what I gather, although I never actually met him myself, I mean, I saw him live, but never actually met him. And the number of people who I know who have worked with him, and they all said the same thing, one of the nicest guys, both on screen and off screen. I hope that's the case. Obviously, I'll never know. But I think that to back the organizations that he did, he was obviously very, very pro animals. And I think it's all well and good for people to start talking about humanitarian organizations and start backing those because it somehow makes them look good. But I feel like I feel with animals, there's nothing to be gained from that because you're either an animal lover or you're not. And he clearly was. So all the work he did with that was absolutely fantastic. I mean, I sort of suspect that Battersea in particular, Battersea Cats and Dogs Home, absolutely, or Dogs and Cats Home, will absolutely feel his loss. But the world of entertainment as well, let's not forget he was a naturally very, very funny chap. And I just don't think that we'll see another person like him. No,
you won't. I met him once. I was managing someone who was on his show, and I spent very little time together. He could not have been more charming. He didn't need to speak to me. I wasn't on the show. I was representing somebody. He was so nice, and he was nice to everybody. And everybody I know who's met him said he was delightful. The thing about you've touched on something really important. His love of animals, and we both feel the same, you and I feel, it was 100% genuine. It's not like, look at me, I'm wandering through Africa for 10 minutes and then I get in an air-conditioned Jeep and then I go back to my air-conditioned hotel because I don't have to be here and it looks marvelous. I'm sorry to be cynical, but, I live in the real world, not the pretend world. And his love of animals was for year after year after year, and it was absolutely genuine. And they can't speak for themselves, can they? And that's why I just thought I thought he was hugely talented. I thought it was tremendous when you can change your career and not rinse it till you're tired of it. So he retired Lily Savage, and that's how people knew him originally. But he retired Lily Savage and just became Paul O'Grady. And that was fantastic. But as I said when he died, I said on the show on Wednesday, if I had to make a choice, I'd go like that. I'd love to be right at the top of my game, working hard, and just go, rather than some horrible lingering illness or, God forbid, dementia. I don't want my kids going through that, having to deal with me, or anything like that. I'd really, honestly, would rather just go tomorrow than know that in 10 years' time I'm going to go through some horrible, prolonged ghastliness. So in that way,
if you do decide to go tomorrow, will you please give me a bit of advance notice, just because I'd need to know what to do with the show in your absence, Cecil?
Yeah.
But I do agree wholeheartedly.
Thank you for your touching tribute.
I do agree wholeheartedly, though. I do think that somehow that seems the kind of way to go. But he had suffered, from what I could gather, ill health for quite a while anyway. So
what was it? Was it his heart?
Yeah, his heart. I mean, we don't. By the way, let me be very clear.
No one knows.
No one knows how he died.
No one knows,
okay, so please don't take that as given. But what I'm trying to get at is that it was what he was very open and honest about it. He'd had 2 heart attacks, I think, by the age of 50, and he wrote about how his parents had both died of heart conditions. So one can draw their own conclusions. It's not been confirmed, and I'm sure it will be in due course. But it's just it somehow just seems so shocking that in this day and age someone can die at the age of 67.
Yeah, it's nothing. Me, it's absolutely it's nothing. What was interesting, and you might think, well, what's this got to do with mental health? Well, I'll tell you what it's got to do with mental health and well-being. And I don't shoehorn everything into it because it's just ludicrous. an absolute outpouring of love. Nobody said, "Oh, for God's," everybody who met him, everybody who worked with him, just people who knew him through television, absolutely adored him. Very rare, very, very rare to be universally. Good Lord, what? According to someone called Linda Dave, no relation, he had a daughter and a grandchild. Wow, wow, wow.
Correct. His daughter Sharon, who he had
I
with
had no idea.
Yeah, his daughter Sharon, who he had with a friend of his back at I think he was 18 when he became a father.
Wow, puts me to shame.
Yeah, I think he was 18 when he became a father, and then it was his grandson is now 16, I think. So,
well, everyone who worked with him, and I know I saw him in the London Palladium Pantos the last time I saw him live, and I know that everyone who worked with him, it was just great. It was just a lot of fun, very charming, and very nice. And what I liked so much is that he, and this is such a rare quality, went out of his way to make sure everyone was okay. Not like, look at me. I mean, God knows how many people like that have you and I met, Phil. And you think, God, let's get out of here as quickly
please
as
don't
possible.
let me list them.
No, don't. But when somebody is hosting something and they make sure everybody is looked after, have you got a drink? Are you okay? And it chats to everybody and means it. Not like, how many times have we been to events and the person you're talking, they're looking over your shoulder to see who's more interested.
Yeah, who else is there?
Yeah. And you know what I do? I close down immediately and I walk away. I won't have that. If somebody's talking to me and they look over your shoulder to think, yeah, I'm just scoping the room. Who's more interesting? I'll have. I'm not even listening to what he's saying. And
but you know,
screw you. I'm off.
Yeah,
Boom.
you know
Done.
that to me is exactly the same as when someone whips out their mobile phone when they're talking to you when they're with you.
That. No.
It's as if they anticipate someone more interesting is going to be in touch with them soon.
And I've never done that with that. No, that I won't have.
No, my response, if
I
have that, no, if I do have that, my response is very, very simple. I just turn to them and I say, I genuinely don't know who could be more interesting than who's in front of you right now.
And then they start giving.
And then they start listing.
they go through the London alphabet of the telephone book. This is very worrying. But Lloyd Beanie will love this. I've got to try and find it. That your mother played at Clitterhouse.
Pardon?
Your mother,
right,
played at Clitterhouse.
Good heavens!
The things that come out. You'll never. I used to play netball at Clitterhouse. Says Linda Dave. Lloyd Beanie, it couldn't be better.
That's it. Let's get the gags out the way about used to play with ball.
And she managed to find it, but it was an all-girls netball team. Yeah, fine. We've done that. Let's go to New York State. Paul, what have we got here? Azin on Brown High, Azin.
Good day to you, sir. Emma Webb says, by the way, Paul O'Grady, a funny, sweet man, became a good friend via mutual friends. You miss him. Oh, I miss him already, I suppose. Simon's Lily in Prisoner Cell Block H, the musical.
Well, that must have been fun. That must have been fun. He was on tour in Annie, wasn't he? Because I was watching.
He played Miss Hannigan.
Yeah, and it's like, whoa, that was last week, and now you're dead.
Mm.
Wow.
Well, no. Annie, the most recent Annie is Craig Revel Horwood.
Oh, really?
Mm.
Oh, really?
So I don't think he's done Annie for a while, but yeah, he did absolutely. He definitely did it in the past. So
Asa says, I really dislike fair-weathered friends, guests, or associates. I prefer authenticity. Well, there you go. You're absolutely right. Now,
you watch this show, Asa.
Yeah,
Jokes.
I had a throwback. Bloody hell, Hue and Cry. God damn, what's that? They were Scottish, weren't they? Am I going mad? They were Scottish. I think they were Scottish. Yeah, they were Scottish band, weren't they? Here we go, and this is another one from Luke, which is worth mentioning. Good afternoon, gents. Looking forward to the 18-mile walk. Holy God. With 7 members of the Fomenta Talk attendees this weekend. We're preparing for the London Marathon walk in 3 weeks. Luke, well done. The work that you do is fantastic.
I would say bravo, but call me old-fashioned, but I think the tube is slightly more comfortable. So, yes.
Hey, talking of tubes.
Oh.
I went on in London. There's a new line called the Elizabeth line, which I hadn't.
Which was dubbed Crossrail, by the way, to some who didn't know that. But yeah.
Was it?
That's what Crossrail was. You know, when they were building.
No,
it,
I
it
didn't realise it was the same thing. I thought Crossrail
Yeah.
was something going up to Birmingham. As if,
Oh no.
as if
No. That's HS2.
Oh, that's a load of crap. Boy, is that a waste of money. What a pointless exercise that is. HS2. Billions and billions and billions pissed up the wall. Absolutely stupid. Stupid. What's the point of it?
Well, no wonder it doesn't go anywhere if it's going up the wall.
No, but the point is, you know,
It's on the wrong track.
Yay! They derailed it. The whole thing is, it's going to get you
So
to
I'm still in
the
training.
north like half an hour earlier. What? You need billions and billions spent because your time is so. What are you? You're not king.
To
of the
some,
world.
that's very useful. So you know.
No, this is just such crap. You will get there half an hour.
It's linking the north-south divide.
Have another coffee. Who gives a shit? It's half an hour. Who cares? So what? You plan, so it's going to take you half an hour longer. That's how you do life.
I've never thought of it like that.
Nonsense. Yeah, I know. It's a nonsense. They've got this albatross around their neck. They should have dumped it years and years and years ago and just said no. Anyway, Elizabeth Line, which is a tube line in London. Went on it last. I don't know where the hell. Oh yes, I had a stupid Saturday, and found myself. I don't know where the hell I was. Got on it. It was really excellent. Wowza! It was proper 21st century tube.
Yeah, it is mightily impressive. And have you noticed how much higher the ceilings are?
Yeah, the whole thing.
It's enormous. The tunnels are massive.
Yeah, it really was, as Phil rightly says, very impressive. I mean, whoever designed that knew what they were doing.
Paul Claridge appears to have rewritten the words to Yellow Submarines. In the shop where I work, I hate when a customer is on the phone.
Yeah.
When I'm trying to serve them. If that happens, I serve the next customer in the queue and tell the person on the phone I'll get back to them when they have finished their call. Quite right, Paul. I couldn't agree more with that.
Nicely done,
and
Paul
equally,
Claridge.
it drives me mad when shop assistants are gassing away to their colleagues rather than looking at you. I will wait. I will literally stand in front of them and they'll point or something like that rather than talk to me. I said, no, I'll wait till you finish your conversation.
I went into my local nicer store. Look at me, Mr. Showbiz. Nicer. Shows you the
you
state
know
of
how
my
to live,
life.
don't you?
Shows you the state of my life. For me, Lidl is like Harrods. Anyway, you think I'm joking at the moment.
On steroids.
Anyway, we go to my nicer store. The guy's yakking to his colleague. Whatever language it was, don't know. Right, put that to one side. Doesn't really matter. And he's yakking. So I come up, put the butt thing there. He doesn't look at me once. Yak. Doesn't say. So when it finished, I went, thank you. Took the bag. Who's the customer
I hate that.
here? Who's the customer?
And also,
come on.
If I have to say, if anyone does garble in a foreign dialect in front of me, I will always make a point of saying, sorry, I didn't understand that. And then, of course, they say, oh, no, I was talking to whoever. Well, don't.
Do you say that? Jeez.
Yes. No, I can't stand it. It drives me mad. It really irritates me.
When I'm in the supermarket and you get these people and they're on the mobile and they're at the checkout and they're ignoring whoever's doing the packing, treating them like a piece of crap.
Mm-hmm.
And I apologize when it's my turn and they've gone and they never say thank you. And I always say, I'm so sorry. That was just horrible, because I want the person who's doing the checkout work to know that they're valued. They're a human being. They're not a piece of garbage. They're not a second-class citizen. And I always do that and engage them in conversation. Because it's not right. This is a two-way street. Shop assistants can be incredibly rude and unhelpful. They won't get my. I'll go somewhere else or just do without. To be honest with you, if they're that rude, and sometimes I just dump the stuff and just walk out.
See, I find it fascinating, the fact that we've got a situation where the high street is dying before our eyes.
Dying on its arse. Don't
care what anyone says. People will say, oh, no, the high street will always be. No, it won't. It absolutely won't. And I tell you why it won't be. I tell you why it won't be. Is because it goes so much deeper than just what the shops have to offer compared to what you can get online for half the price. It's way worse than that. It's the whole experience from start to finish. Look at what's happening with parking. You can't get anywhere near a shop now, because if you do, you have to spend a fortune on trying to get there. When you do, you're greeted with rude customer service. When you actually eventually sort of do find what you're looking for, you have to hunt high and low for it, because God knows someone who works there doesn't know what they have in stock anymore, so they can't point you in the right direction. It's just horrendous. And I find particularly interesting is that now it's not so new anymore. Actually, this has been going on a while. But have you ever had this when you go up to someone and ask if they've got something, rather than be honest and say they don't know, they'll just say no, and you go and look and they do have it. Have you ever had that before?
I had that, in the Porsche showroom. I said, "Do you have a 911? I've got some cash in my pocket." And they went, "Don't know, mate." And I walked around and I went, "Well, here's a 911. Look, there it is. White.
They pointed you to a photo of New York.
No, I'm just joking. Please, if you're from Porsche, I am just joking.
But no,
there's such a gorgeous car in their window at the moment, because I go to Green Park Station. I have a lot of meetings around town, and I have to walk past the Porsche showroom, and I stand there like a schoolboy, like, just staring at the window,
drooling.
No,
but it's honestly, everything about the high street is mightily unpleasant now, and I think it's a great shame. But you have to think, I have to think to myself anyway, that if a person who runs a business knows this, at the very least, I would do one of two things if it was me.
Yep.
Number one, I would do all that I can to try and help customers with the parking. So in other words, if you do park outside, and let's just say, I don't know, it's £1 for half an hour, knock £1 off the shop.
Pound.
No, but you know what I mean? Knock £1 off of the shopping. Do you know what I mean? Something like that, just clever. So that they've paid for the parking. The other thing I'd consider as well is making the experience more worthwhile. So in other words, train your staff better. Have them know that no matter what happens, they'd care if they lost their jobs, wouldn't they? But
no, they don't care. No, the employee... There's so much to unpack here, and it is about how we feel. So you're going, well, it's not about depression. It's not about, suicide prevention. No, it's not. But it's part of our everyday life.
No, it's part of everyday life. And if someone is making you feel bad, it's part of mental health.
I agree. Let's try and unpack some of this. I used to write back in the days.
Unpack some of the shopping.
Yay!
Ear or wink.
Hey, try the chicken. I used to do a load of training videos. That's what I made most of my money, was writing corporate training videos for all the big companies, from John Lewis, Dixon's, Currys, everything going on. And the problem was Vauxhall Motors, you name it, and British Airways. Their staff turnover was so fast. They never had the longevity, and they didn't. It was better then, but now, of course, they don't care. The staff doesn't care. The management doesn't care, which is why, online shopping and Amazon is, because you don't have to go out, try and find somewhere to park, or go by bus and get soaked like it is at the moment. Get indifferent service, not be able to find it. What's the point? There's no. I remember it's like, let's go shopping.
Well, there's no incentive at all.
There's absolutely no joy in it, unless you're going to. Actually, they've changed this. I was going to say, unless you're like really minted, and you're going to go to Bond Street or New Bond Street, and you're going to go to, I don't know, something like Chanel or one of the designers, and you think, that's an experience. I don't, because I get my stuff from Tesco. Perfectly honest, I do. I don't care, because that's how it is. So, but that's all changed, because now there's at these very, very high-end shops, and a lot of ladies I've discussed this with, you're standing in the queue, and the security goes up and down the queue. Get this is true. This is in like Bond Street and New Bond Street, which are the deluxe if you're American and you're watching this, or you're in France or Germany, wherever. They're like the best streets in London, the high end, like the Rodeo Drive of London in the UK. And they go, can we help you? And then they say, what are you here to buy? And if you say, well, I just want to look around, I'm not sure. They often don't let you in. They'll say, "I'm sorry, you need to be here for something specific." I'm like, what?
That's ridiculous.
But a few people have told me this. It's quite incredible. The security come up to you. What do you want to buy? Don't get that in Lidl, by the way. Yeah. Yeah. What is this? What have we got here? Elizabeth Green. Try John Lewis customer service. I was shocked. Morocco, Philippines. What? John Lewis is in Morocco. Explain. Can you decipher this? I'm not entirely sure. John Lewis is pretty good, actually. John Lewis is the only example of
I have a horrible feeling that
socialism
what
I've
Elizabeth is trying to suggest, and correct me if I'm wrong, Elizabeth, is that potentially employees from certain backgrounds are less helpful than others. I hope that's not what you're suggesting. But
Well, if you're sitting in a call center, you don't give a toss, do you?
No.
You don't. You absolutely don't give a toss. What do we got from Kimmy? I got presented with a bottle of wine last week for excellent customer reviews. Shame I'm off the booze. Phil and I aren't, by the way.
I was going to say,
I'm
not.
We're fine. You know, if
Definitely
it's
not.
Sitting there, if it's sitting there gathering dust, Kimmy, look no further. I imagine. I like to imagine how I'd like to be treated as a customer. Our youngsters have dreadful customer service. Well,
do you know that actually could be a very interesting service we could offer? You know,
what's that?
If anyone's gone on the wagon and they'd like to clear out some old booze, I'd be very happy to help.
No, and we charge very little, don't
Absolutely.
we? For that service, very reasonable.
Very reasonable.
What are we charging per bottle for removal, or what are we doing?
Well, it seems a bit harsh to charge per bottle because obviously some people might have more bottles than others. So I think we should charge per glass.
Genius. So like £1 a glass or something, which is reasonable for wine.
Oh my God, for alcohol in this day,
for alcohol,
that's an
£1. So
bargain.
So each bottle of wine that you want to give me and Phil, we'll charge you like £7.
And we'll raise a glass to you in your honour.
Oh, sure. Not like we're going to forget you.
No. We know our sponsors. I would like to stress as well, in case anyone from the powers that be is watching, drink responsibly, please. But
anyway. Yeah, drink. Who are the powers? I'm the powers that be.
Well, you know, you got to think.
I don't care. Yeah, drink responsibly. Yeah, absolutely. So it is. It's drinking responsibly. It's important. It's important. It's a slippery slope. Very important. You were talking about the high street.
I was. I'm pleased you were listening.
Always. And it would annoys people because I quote them back verbatim and they go, "I didn't think you were listening." I said, "I'm a writer. I listen to absolutely every bloody word. I just don't show that I'm listening." It's entirely different. The two things are not connected.
That's why you should never play poker with Russell.
The high street is dead for a number of reasons. One, lousy service. Two, greedy landlords putting decent shops out of business through sheer greed. Three, because of the greedy landlords, just the proliferation of charity shops. And I'm not knocking charity shops, please. I'm not being rude about that. But, you know, you go and you could be...
Yeah, but you know why that is, don't you? But if I'm not very much mistaken, I think there is a ruling in place that says you can't charge a charity shop over a certain amount of rent. And if that's the case, and they can't get any other tenants, that's why they get charity shops.
That's it. Absolutely right. What's Elizabeth saying? I called customer service and the call centers were in those countries. I had a case number with my daughter's name on it. That they set that up. So when I called and spoke to someone abroad, they said, "Sorry, data protection. Your name is not the..." Oh, for God's sake, data protection. Load of crap. Right. Anyway, so then you've got all that. Then deliberately stopping your parking with greedy councils. Councils. So you can't park. The difference is when I used to go to America a lot.
Did you?
My dear friend Francis, and I said, "It's amazing. We can always park." And he turned to me like I was an idiot, not far wrong. And he said, Russ, for God's sake, this is America. This is Los Angeles. Any shop, restaurant, anywhere, if you can't park, we'll be out of business in 1 week. Finished. Because in America, you don't have a transport system. You drive everywhere. That's how it is. Just accept it, right?
But even so, I mean, I think you'd agree as well. It's not just that. It's just that the actual roads are so much bigger.
They are bigger, but you could
walking
always
forever.
park. Yeah, but you could always park. You don't drive around like nuts. And when people say, "We use the bus," yes, I do. I use the bus and the tube every day. Of course I do. But if I've got loads of shopping, no, I'm not going to bug around with buses and give myself another hernia. Thank you. Graham Pack. Charity shops get rates relief, usually at 80% of the rates to be charged, with some councils giving 100% relief. The problem with it is it's not enticing for a high street. And I hope that's not rude. I give to my local charity shop all the time because it gives only, I won't give to Oxfam. Sorry. I've said it before. I'll say it again. Won't give them. And I want to know where the money's going. This gives only to the very local community, which is great, which I will always support because I happen to love the community around here. It's old fashioned and they care. And it is old fashioned. So I give to them and they're very, very nice in there. I won't give to some multinational charity shop because I don't know where the stuff's going. I don't know where the money's ending up, you know? You drive, yeah, in America, this is absolutely right. You drive from store to store, each with its own parking lot. And the difference is, and people are very, unless you've lived there, you won't get this. They always say, oh, America's so false. America's so false. They have a desire to serve. And that doesn't mean be subservient. That's not the same thing. But in America, in the service industry, they actually take a pride in what they do. They want you to have a good customer experience. It's a fact. I lived there for years, worked there forever. So over here, they don't. And I've forgotten to plug my computer in. So you carry on for a second. And
well, whilst you're doing
regale everybody with your fabulousness.
No, but to me, it's very simple. Whilst you're doing that, is because you were saying about how they have a desire to serve, not to be subservient, and I think it's because it is inherent. It's basically taught from a very young age to have respect for one another, to love thy country as well. We don't get any of that here. There's no patriotism whatsoever. Everyone is suspicious of everyone else. It's absolutely shocking. And when you actually sort of do occasionally get the odd shop that's had that American influence, you can always tell which one it is. You've had that odd shop that's got an American influence, and they turn to you and they say, "How are you doing today?" You know they don't care. It's not heartfelt. They don't care at all.
They can't do it here. You can't have an English person going, "Have a nice day." It doesn't work. Just doesn't work. Here we go. Aza's saying, it really depends on the city and the state. Canada's very similar. Quebec and Vancouver also offer excellent commuter services. Here we go. Agree, street cleaners there have a pride in their jobs. Here seems not to want to be there. No, it's another thing I do, and I'm not patting myself on the back. I really am not like that. If I walk past a street cleaner, or whatever the official term is, I always say hi. Always say hello. I know people might think that's a bit odd, but you know, they're doing a really, really valuable job. Will I say hello to an investment banker? No, of course I bloody won't. But the guy, you know, is out there in all weathers and he's sweeping the street. And if he doesn't do it, nobody will. So I always go, hi. You know, I always say something and they will acknowledge their presence. Because we've spent
too many years telling everyone you are better. This is a low job. This is a job you should aspire towards.
Rubbish.
And it doesn't work. Some people are able to do some jobs, some are able to do others. And it doesn't mean that job is any less valuable than the person who's doing something that earns $1 million.
You said that. I'm so glad you said that. This snobbery is, you know, people. I look at Canary Wharf, which is just a monument to Mammon. I mean, it's brilliant, and I did all the original writing for that when there was nothing there, so it's sort of pretty close to my heart. And the budgets were fantastic, to be perfectly honest with you. And and I think, what do they do? Shuffle a piece of paper around and make, you know, I'm just horrible. Somebody at least sweeping the street, they're doing a proper job. It's a proper job that helps other people. What is this? Oh, this is interesting. This is from somebody called Linda Dave, who used to play netball at Clissohouse. I'm never going to let that go now. And it says this. Phil, what picture is hanging behind you? It looks like something hanging up in a butcher's shop. It's true. I don't know what the hell it is. It looks like a loin of beef or something. I don't know what it is.
As you know, in my job, the stakes are quite high.
Yeah.
So I'm not entirely sure who that is. It looks like it's. I won't show the full picture just in case there's some sort of copyright on it or something like that.
Yeah.
But let's just suggest that it looks like someone who's on a catwalk of some description. I can confirm that they are not wearing a piece of meat. They are, in fact, wearing some sort of pink color chiffon of some description. So that is what that picture is, but I don't know its relevance.
I prefer thinking of it as a bit of tenderloin. Dave Sleet says the service bait. No,
Well,
this is really
as that could
wow.
actually be, that could well be the theme of today's show: tenderloin and care.
Don't understand the gag. I'm going to
Never
pretend
mind.
I do. I'm going to pretend
I
I
think you
do,
should.
so I don't
Right.
look even more stupid than normal. Dave Sleet
That's all right.
says this up in Fife in Scotland. The service baseline
Okay.
in the UK grew from servitude. Ah, that's really interesting. The US baseline grew from a connectivity experience.
Dave, you're
Wow.
such a flipping genius, honestly.
Dave
It makes me
Sleet
sick.
is not only one of the nicest guys
It just
on
makes
the
me
planet.
sick.
You
Stop
sit-
being clever. It doesn't
Yes,
win you anyone over,
yeah,
I'm telling
no one
you.
likes a smart ass Dave
No,
Sleet.
It really
So-called
don't.
Dave Sleet. Every time
But
I
I'm going to claim the fact that my surname is Dave, and it's something to do with it.
you should be called Dave.
I should be.
I think that's a trick your parents missed.
I
Elizabeth
think they
Green,
missed out.
Here
Absolutely.
everyone talks to each other. That's in New York. On the bus last night, 10 p.m., very eloquent 85-year-old Estonian lady talked to me all the way home. It's interesting.
And then you realised your wallet was missing.
And then she thought, that is so rude. That is so rude. No, Elizabeth would have told us. Oh, we've gone now.
Oh, hello.
God, Paul Claridge, he writes books. He doesn't write messages.
Excuse me, can I just point out, I'm not the one who said that she was Estonian. I don't care where she comes from.
Back to Paul Claridge. A friend of a friend, he's just showing off, he's got loads of friends, who is mega rich, went to a high-class car dealer to buy a new, I thought he was going to say high-class something else. That's the way my mind works. High-class car dealer to buy a new car. Could you read this? I got the giggles. Sorry.
Are you quite all right?
No, I'm not. I'm thinking of something else.
He happened to be wearing an old tracksuit. The snooty staff paid him little attention and were quite rude. So he left and returned an hour later, driving the latest top-of-the-range supercar, which he'd just bought from the dealership's main competitors for cash. He sat there, revving the engine, and then told the owner of the dealership about the sale and future custom. His staff had just... Oh, it's gone.
Oh, sorry. Go on, there you go.
That's all right. And future custom, his staff had just lost for his business. Bravo,
I always loved the story of Keith Moon, the drummer from The Who. And
The Who?
yeah. And, he was mad. And great drummer, only for The Who. He would have been terrible in any other band. And he he dressed for reasons only known as a farmer or a gardener, or he was off his face, and he walked into Jack Barclay in Berkeley Square, and they thought, oh my God, a tramp has walked in, and Keith Moon brought out all this.
I think you should explain to those who don't know, Jack Barclay is an exclusive car dealer in Berkeley Square. So,
yeah. And he said, "Oh, our Rolls Royce." Oh, for God's sake, who's this?
Who's phoning you? Don't they know you're on air?
No, it's not that. It's a number. It's a foreign number, so it's a scam call.
Oh, I see. Oh, I have fun with those. How rude!
I'm not
Mother says missing Chantel's Dave. So sorry.
Yes, thanks, Linda. Thanks for your support. Really appreciate it. And Keith Moon said, "Oh, Rolls Royce," and they thought they were going to call the police because there was a trap. And they said, "Well, sir, it's whatever £1,000." He said, "Is it? Is it? Hang on." And he started bringing out so much cash. He paid for the whole thing in cash. He just had wads and wads and wads of notes.
Oh, my goodness.
Liz Saul. We like Liz lots. Hello, boys. Hello, Liz Saul. Chantel, in case you're wondering where the ever-fragrant Chantel Rickards, OBE, is, she's actually out of the UK. So she can't be with us because she's got other things to do, because she's very important. Did see a couple of things, by the way.
She's broad.
I did see a couple of things that were last night. I just came across. I'd watched the first in the series and I hadn't watched it. We're not doing a whole TV thing, by the way, but
no, because without Chantel, it's not the same.
Oh, it's infinitely better, much better, much better, and we're more glamorous. Oh, you are so predictable. Maybe she's at Clitterhouse, Lloyd. She could be playing netball with Linda. Anyway,
In a
yes, I'm
beanie.
sorry, Lloydski. She's out the UK at the moment. She's actually physically on a plane or somewhere.
I fancy
watched.
that. What's the point of
There
that?
was a show that was on Netflix called Jeffrey Epstein, Filthy Rich, which was
yes.
an extraordinary view. An extraordinary view. Anyway, the next in the series will not be surprising. Ghislaine Maxwell, Filthy Rich. It's a documentary about nearly 2 hours long. Holy God. I watched it last night. Christ.
What, he was in it as well?
Now that's silly, isn't it? That's silly talk, Philip. That's silly talk.
It's what I do.
It is. It's really harrowing.
Oh.
But what made me sick, I know it's their job. I'm not stupid. I trained as a lawyer myself. I understand that. But the defense, I'm sorry, I'm just going to use the word despicable. What they do in America, it's despicable. She was found guilty, as you know, and sentenced, I think, only to 20 years. And of course, they're appealing. It's the most extraordinary documentary. It's on Netflix, as I said. It's called Ghislaine Maxwell, Filthy Rich. What a really horrible human being.
You know, though, I mean, there's a lot of things that America does get right. Okay, but I have to say that when they base their system over there on politics and law, based on whoever has the most money comes out on top completely. More often than not, it's not a good look, you know.
The worst thing about it was some of these girls, I'm not going to get into the whole what is the age of consent. That's another thing. That is our subject with Hattie Suvari next Wednesday at 12:30. Age of consent, much more complicated than you think. Very popular segment of MRS now. It's that they reported these crimes to so many of the authorities and were utterly ignored. For decades, they went straight, because people say, oh, they kept quiet about it. They didn't keep quiet about it. They went straight. They went to the police. They went to the FBI. Completely ignored. Why? Money gets you honey. And the thing is, what is so infuriating, they got Epstein and they got his pimp, really, Ghislaine Maxwell. But you know, and I know, there were so many other hugely influential, important people, all in that mega wealthy club, who have just sailed away because they had the money and the influence. I mean, that black book about the island and everything, these people should be on trial. They won't be. They won't be. Awful. Yes, you're quite right. This is a great series, and people seem to not be, don't seem to know. The Bay. The Bay is on ITV. It stars Dan Ryan. He and I tweet each other most days just to muck about. It's a great series. The Bay, set in Morecambe, as in, hey, and it's really good. You wouldn't think that it's a detective procedural. They're very, very good. Very, very good. And of course, Unforgotten is fantastic. This in from Liz Saul, the night agent on Netflix, starts off totally unexpected. Lots of twists with Chubby Checker. Cutting edge reference there, Russie. And that's just the first episode. Well done. And Martin Allen is saying, sorry, I'm late to the party. Anything else
may well be.
seen?
I have to tell you, actually, if you think along the lines of less television and more theatre-ish concert, if you like, I went to go and see ABBA Voyage at weekend. Yeah.
Wow.
Okay. Honest to God, if you like ABBA's music, don't be put off by the fact that it's virtual. Don't think to yourself, or if they can't even be bothered to turn up, because I thought exactly the same. I had it with a real pinch of salt. And honestly, it was fan-blooming-tastic.
Really?
Seriously fantastic.
Because Leslie Ann Jones, who's been a mate since, God knows, the 70s or something, she went to see us, thought it was the end of music. She just scathing
No,
about.
absolutely loved it. And I have to tell you, she's the first person I've heard of who hasn't enjoyed it. Anyone I've
She
spoken
wrote a
to
very
seen it,
long
loved it.
piece about it and said it was really the end of entertainment. Anyway, neither here nor there. She's not here to discuss it, but she's been on the show before. Was it like being in a show? Was it the same? I don't know.
You're very aware. You are
can't
very
imagine.
aware that it's virtual at some points. You just look at it and you think, oh, hang on, you look a bit odd. Oh, that's why it's a hologram. But if you get lost in it and you just get into the spirit of it, it's blooming brilliant. Absolutely love it.
Did they build a special arena or something?
That's right. Yes. So it's actually in what is dubbed the ABBA Arena in Pudding Mill Lane.
In Pudding Mill Lane. Where the hell is Pudding Mill Lane? Near
it's
the
on
O2?
the DLR.
Right. Right. Hang on. Let's just go and answer some of this stuff back. Asa, I could not disagree with you more. Absolutely not. There's stuff I could say. I'm not saying it on air. I would tell you personally face to face. You're absolutely wrong. She was not a scapegoat. Not a scapegoat at all. She was an enabler. Right. Back to things much nicer than that. Ooh, I took Neil. That's Neil Long. To see ABBA Voyage. I thought the same as you, Phil. Neil was really into ABBA. We both thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah, honestly, I do recommend it. To anyone who likes ABBA music, I can highly recommend it.
Oh, look.
Going in the summer with your personal LA barista.
Oh, my personal LA barista is a little squidget who lives in Los Angeles and is one of his many granddaughters. And she always, when I stayed with her dad, Owen, I stayed with her for weeks because he does sort of Airbnb thing. And I've known him since he was a baby. And he's not a baby anymore. He's the points partner. The points is terrific. He's made for Los Angeles.
Jackie Mason in disguise.
Could have been a point partner, almost a point partner. Wasn't quite a points partner. Went on a plane. It could have been a plane. It nearly was a plane. I could have sat at the front. I sat at the back. Anyway, so and his daughter, who is just terrific.
Very good.
She'd sit on the counter and make me my coffees. And that was her thing on the machine. She was my little personal barista, and she'll always know that. What have we got? Oh, this one's good. Julie Voice used to be ex Houston, Texas, now Guilford. Doesn't sound right, Julie. I'm sorry. I'm totally hooked on Designated Survivor. That's quite good. Yeah. Rosemary. What have I missed?
Rosemary Jessup.
I love Rosemary Jessup because
have a good weekend.
Well, thank you, Rosemary, and to
Thanks.
you. She lives with her horses in the country. We've never met, unless I'm going mad. But I love the pictures, and it's so beautifully rural, and it's just another world. I live in the.
I've never thought of a stable as being that comfortable an environment to stay in, personally. But if you're sure,
tell that to the baby Jesus. Moving on. What have we got?
Well,
we have a stable relationship.
We do.
She makes hay while the sun shines. Come on.
Are we going to do some horse gags?
Yeah, no. Let me hang on.
How many can we come out with on the trot?
Let me clarify. Maxwell definitely had bloody hands, but she was Asa, tell you what, in all seriousness, watch the documentary, Ghislaine Maxwell, Filthy Rich on Netflix. At the end of it, see if you agree or disagree with your current view. What is that? What have we got? What have we got going here? This machine. What have we got? Doesn't sound right to me. Doesn't sound right. Oh no, right. Being in Guilford. No. Julie Voice from Houston, Texas has a ring. Julie Voice from Guilford. Meh. Grand Pack.
I think you underestimate. I think Guilford's quite nice.
Do you?
Yeah.
You got to get up the A3, which is always a pain in the ass. Grand Pack. Chantal recommended Fleischmann is in Trouble a couple of weeks ago, and it's great. Her recommendations, Chantal's recommendations, are always fabulous. Go and see. Would you like to read this? My throat's hurting.
Liz Saul says, go and see the stage musical of Back to the Future in London. Agreed. Soon to be on Broadway too. Fantastic. Not just for Back to the Future fans. I agree with that, actually.
I don't want to get
because no, I completely get that. And I have to say that when I first had the opportunity to go and see it, I thought to myself, hang on a second, Back to the Future is anything but a musical. It just doesn't make sense. And how on earth do they plan on replicating some of the stuff that goes on in Back to the, for example, there are people on hoverboards in Back to the Future. I don't think I'm giving that away. I think that's very much a part of the film because they're going into the future. Anyhow, didn't know how they were going to achieve it. And especially, I can't say more than this, when they time travel, absolutely phenomenal. So please, if you haven't seen it, go and watch it. It's bloody brilliant.
I didn't fancy it. It's funny. Timmy Alexis Carrington Ward should have done silly bitch.
Well, his other half.
His other half was the, what do you call it? The head chief
stage manager or something like that, I suppose.
The head guy of the production, whatever it is, David. And that's his show. I'm pleased it's still running. Because COVID absolutely they just got it up. These musicals cost a fortune, a minimum of 5 million to launch. Minimum. And absolutely. Dave Sleet's agreeing. Definitely an awesome production.
Take it from Dave Sleet. He's a clever chap.
He knows everything. If you like action films, but just by chance, I was surfing channels as I always do, and I couldn't watch any more Stephen Crowder. I'd been Stephen Crowdered out. I'd even been Greg Gutfield out this week, so I decided to just lighten my mood, and with my pipe, and I watched a Vietnamese film, Netflix Vietnam, not a joke. Vietnamese Netflix called Fury, Furie, not the one with Brad Pitt in the tank. Not that
so
one.
Near yet so far.
Yeah, Fury, Furie. If you like, it's kind of like John Wick type films. But the thing about it was, I didn't know what Vietnam looked like, really. You really think you're there. Talk about gritty. Wowza. Talk about gritty. What have we got here? I took my dad to see the stage musical of what? The Neil Long show. Neil Long, the musical. The special effects are spectacular. Dad used to run his own electrical business, and even he was like, how do they do that?
Would you like a random picture of the day?
Thank you for your recommendation. I'll check it out. Let me ask. Oh, yes. Duh. And yet there are world leaders, financial influencers who will never be found out.
Well, quite.
How many times was Bill Clinton on the private jet? 27? 27? How many times was Bill Gates on the jet?
I don't think we need to go speculating in that.
We're not speculating. We just say, oh, look. Oh, God. Big hair, don't care. Big hair, don't care. Oh, that is so sweet.
That would be a photo of me and my mama.
God.
Taken, I reckon, circa 1987.
87. Jesus Christ. Shut up, Phil. 200 years old. Jesus, 87. He looks like that. That is so adorable. No, we need to see it again. I'm sorry. That is just so cute. That is so cute. That is.
Thank you very much.
Best joke that Paul Claridge has ever done. Read it yourself.
I just found a book about the history of Clitterhouse playing fields. I'm flicking through it. Good work,
Paul. That is the
well
best
done, Paul.
You've ever done. John Wick. Oh no, wrong one. Beg your pardon. John Wick. Now, what is that good or not? I love the John Wick films. I love them. John Wick 4, shop.com. Good, not good? Dave, elaborate for Christ's sake. How do you put the pictures up like that? It's so clever. I can't do it. I don't know what to do. No, I'm not a clue.
What can I say? It's all in the fingers.
Look at the hair, says Liz Saul.
I know. Yeah. Whose though? My mother's or mine?
Oh God, we reenacted that.
It is true. We did reenact that.
You reenacted that. I love it when adults reenact pictures of when they were with their brothers and sisters as little kids. Those things crack me up. I think they're fantastic. They're just great. Where they do the same pose, like they're in the bath, or they're playing or something, and they're all grown
Oh
up.
no,
It's
I'm sorry.
absolutely
Ones that are in
adorable.
the bath freak me out a little bit. So I think there are some
There's
things that
nothing
just
rude about it. There's nothing
better
rude about it.
better
It's
left in the
funny.
past. So
Yeah, most of my life better left in the past. And she loves the hair, both on Linda and yourself. That's such a sweet. How old were you then? 2, 3?
no, it would have been 1, I think.
Emma Webb. Mr. Claridge, a sauce pot. Old jokes are the very best, folks. Yes. Please, you're feeling a bit better, Emma. She writes to me from time to time, which is
So we got
feeling
the
a bit down.
before, and that was the after when we reenacted it.
Oh my God! You look about 14 there.
No, I mean I reckon I was probably about 29 or 30 when that was
I hate
taken,
you
because
for
it was
this.
still in the old house. So
Was it this old? What? Honestly, you look about 14 years old. It's extraordinary.
it's when I had hair.
Well, yeah, but you were very brave, and it's a big thing. What have we got here? When I look through the book.
When I was looking through the book on Clitterhouse playing fields, chapter G was missing, or maybe I couldn't find it. Yeah,
right, there you go. And John Wick 4, great film, no spoilers, but KR, Keanu Reeves, is holding back, confirming chapter 5. Yes, chapter 5. I love it. Oh, this is a bit rude, Liz. Are you wearing a wig? No, that's his hair. Blooming cheek.
Can I just say, you lot have missed something obvious about that history of the Clitterhouse playing fields. I mean, surely when you're reading the book, you're fingering through it.
Oh, not even I would go there with that gag.
What? It's fingering through a book. What's wrong with you?
Ladies and gentlemen, sometimes even
you are shocked. I know.
Deeply.
Was that one a bit below the belt? So sorry. It's like looking up an old friend, isn't it? Now, I have to say though, when it comes to that kind of smutty humour, don't you start getting all stuck up?
Yay! God's sake! I can only apologise. It's pathetic. God's sake!
Such a giggler. It's ridiculous.
Hey, I've got to buy. I'm serious. It's a serious question for you. Chantal sent me.
There's a chance to be a fine thing. Go for it. Yes.
Chantal sent me an invitation to an event,
and
it was one of those rare things where you don't send yes by email. She sent the proper card invitation. I've got to post it back. Like a moron, I used my ink pen, smudged the whole thing, so my reply looks disgusting. Anyway, not the point. I've got to post it back. I don't have any stamp. How much is a stamp now? I've no idea. I never.
No, a first class stamp is over £1. It's ridiculous.
Over £1.
Absolutely.
For a stamp.
Yeah, totally.
Holy God! If you're watching this in America, that's nearly a
no.
buck.
Right, let's get this into. Okay, so letters. Oh no, I beg your pardon. They're 95 pence, but there may as well be a pound. Right, so yeah, letters. Are you ready for first class from 95 pence, or second class from 68? It doesn't seem that long ago that you could send first class at about 68.
I'm speechless.
Oh, was that what that pinging was? Sorry, Paul. I wondered what I just heard a pinging in my ear.
Do we know what it is?
Let's find out. We've only got a minute and a half to find out, so let's see if we can.
Emma, even for our standards, that is too rude to put up on screen.
Oh, I see.
Funny, but rude.
Oh, that's nice.
What's he done?
That's very nice. Paul Claridge has sent me some photos of. Well, I'll show you. Hang on a second.
Hang on, this is good as we rush to the end of the show.
I know.
We got coming up. It's all live. It's live.
It's fine. We can do this. Don't you worry. There's time.
I'm not that worried.
He started off telling us that he was stroking some cats, and there they are.
Oh, good. Also, I like the one which looks like a leopard. The
I know,
kind of ocelot-y thing.
Very, very attractive looking.
It's a nice looking cat. I'm not into cats. I know you like them, right? Not for me. 'Cause
Everybody loves cats.
they're too snooty. I've got enough people in my life like that who don't give monkeys about me. So I don't need a pet to replicate that. Post USA to UK, $1.75 for they're killing. They're killing their own business.
Outrageous.
They're killing their own business. This is like the high street that we were talking about earlier. They're killing their own business. It's madness. You know, I
It's
just wanted to send an email
nuts.
saying, yes, I'm attending the event. I've literally got to go to the post office. It's a pain in the ass. This is go to the post office.
You're obviously doing it
queue
wrong.
up, buy a bloody stamp and post it. What a pain that is.
Right. Well,
That's
that's your
it,
lot
gang.
for today, peeps.
That's Charlotte, as they say. Have a
Absolutely.
wonderful weekend. Be back on Monday with loads of guests. Until then, take care. Phil, as always, adios ski.
Bye-bye.